Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Celebrate TV Live. I'm your host, Peter Lee. I've got a crowd of people with me today. Of course, you know this character here. He's our grill master. He's also our son, Kevin. At the command center is the guy who makes this all happen. And he might be my husband too. It's Phil Gordimer.
And good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. Today we are on YouTube and on Facebook.
And then, of course, the rest of our audience is our favorite daughter-in-law, Emily, Kevin's wife, and our friend Tim.
And the cat.
And, yeah, Maxwell the cat. That's our kitty today. So we're having a little bubbly today. We have a lot to celebrate besides all the Christmas stuff. So let's see if I can pour this time without having it spill all over the place. Remember last time I tried and it was like, oops.
Nothing on camera to make you miss.
Right.
No pressure.
So what are we celebrating today? Yeah, we're trying to talk about holiday memories and Christmas memories, but we're having champagne for a reason. Tell them, dear.
Well, we're having champagne for a reason because thank you for everyone who watched our last live stream and we said we're almost at 100,000. Get all your friends to watch Scottish Shortbread. Well, here we go. 101,416.
And still climbing.
And still climbing, but even better than that.
Channel wide.
We just hit 750,000 views. So, woohoo, 750,000. So
right.
It's champagne time.
Yay.
All right, you want to come get a glass? You guys too?
Yes, please, because what am I mixing?
Yes.
Scottish shortbread.
Exactly. I have a little injury. I lost a knife fight with the elf on the shelf back there, so he's going to mix for me today.
Step in, people.
Well, you move over, or I'll move
Well,
over.
I was trying to put them out there where they can reach them. But okay, we're all going to be on camera. Good grief.
It's a big camera.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
we
right.
gotta get in there. Come on, Tim, get in there.
You too. All right, so
All right.
cheers.
Happy holidays.
Yay to us. Happy holidays.
Yay to us.
All right, now while you lock it out of my kitchen.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to the control room.
Yes.
You out?
I have been given
There?
alcohol. I'm happy.
Meanwhile, the cat is like, what the hell was that?
He just wants to
All
know
right.
where his
in on the
is.
fun.
Let me heat up this oven for you too, Kev.
All right, well, while you're doing
I
that,
forgot
let's
about
see
it.
who's in chat.
Yep.
Well now.
I think Max has some strong opinions about this.
Yes, he does.
And Hank, it says the season for greetings
Yes.
from the desert
pre-spray? Oh,
southwest
you're pre-sprayed, even better.
in Phoenix.
Okay, tis the season and greetings and winter has arrived. So you have frost. Now, what is winter really, Hank? Like, you know, you had a frost, so that's 40? 32? 30? Yeah.
But then Dixie's in from, and they're in the high 40s.
Yeah, can't remember, no shoveling that. Well, that's great, and good to see you, Dixie. I'm glad you and Phil are online with us. I guess I should have to open this other bottle, aren't I?
Sure.
Yeah, because I've only gotten like a partial glass. Okay, that looks good. Oh wait, well, hold on, you missed a spot right there.
Well, you know, this is normally Mackenzie's job, so
Yeah.
I outsource
So
this.
explain to our audience, super source, here you go. Explain to our audience why he's making it.
I did.
No, not from the thumb injury.
Oh, so,
Really?
well, you know, this Scottish shortbread and this mold is a tradition in my family for many, many years, and I've passed that on to Kevin. I taught him how to cook, even though he didn't realize I was teaching him how to cook at the time. Really, dude, that's pushed in.
Yes, I know. Making sure. Again, normally my 6-year-old does this.
Yes.
She's particular.
So, I took advantage of that since he was going to be here today, and we want to share that tradition. Passing it on to the next generation is what traditions are also, part of what traditions are all about, of course.
Hank says maybe 20 once or twice.
Oof. I love it when it's in the 20s.
And Melissa says it's raining in North Carolina. It's supposed to rain here, but not till 5 o'clock. but then it's supposed to rain all night.
We've had some like sprinkles, like light showers, but nothing here yet. But it's very warm. It's 60 here in New Jersey, and like we had windows open to get some fresh air in the house. It was pretty revolting for the Sunday before Christmas.
Yeah.
Really. Ugh. All right, may I start my
You
part
may.
of the program? Like, oh Lord, he's pulling out notes.
So let's tell everyone what the basis of today is about.
So today it's all about holiday memories. You know, of course, shortbread. Look, I might have one already made. Where am I going? There we are. You know, this is a big part of my Christmas memories. When my mother would pull the shortbread mold out, that was one of the things. Oh, Christmas is coming. And that first bite of shortbread every year, it's like, oh, it's the best time of the year is finally here.
Well, let me put it on the screen because it'll be the last time you see it whole.
Yeah. And I wanted this so we could nibble on it during this live stream while the other one was cooking, and then we can have that one for dessert after dinner later.
But Hank says it's now 74.
Okay. But that's chilly for Arizona, you know. So I just thought today we could all be chatting, talking, baking a shortbread, and we can talk about Christmas memories. I have several. Some of these are kind of silly. Some of them are a little warm and fuzzy. A couple of them are quite amusing. And we've had several people send memories and stories and comments in. So that's what today is all about. And we'll be drinking champagne too, clearly. So I will share my first story. Now these are like random ones, and I don't know why I didn't take the time to put them in some sort of order, like maybe chronologically. That probably would have made sense, huh?
Yes, but how much of a memory are they if you have to read them? I'm just saying.
Well, I don't want to skip anything, and I could have had pages and pages and pages. Okay, now I push start, right?
Yes.
Yes. Someday I'll learn how to use this oven. In we go. All right, we'll let it go for 30 minutes and we'll see. Actually, Alexa, set a timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
Yeah. There. Then I'll make sure we have extra time.
So someone's in on Facebook, yay.
Good, 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 good. Okay, so one memory I have, I'll bring this up, and this was actually not too long. I guess it was kind of long ago. You should remember that, Kevin. It was our first Christmas together. You, me, and your dad. And so Phil used to be a flight instructor on the weekends. He did everything. He's a computer IT guy, he's a scuba diver, dive master, and he's a flight instructor on the weekend. Never stops moving. So our first Christmas together, Christmas Eve, we took Kevin down to see my folks, did gifties, and it was quite late. It was 10:30, 11 o'clock, and he said, we're going flying. We're going to go see Santa. And we got into a little airplane and went flying, and seeing the Christmas lights from above is really a neat experience. And you guys used to do that every year.
We used to do that, and 4th of July. Fireworks at wing level is a whole different experience.
Yeah, that's terrifying to me. But so this Christmas we seeing all the lights, and we decided to head towards Philly. There was a big storm front. Then we might have clipped Santa a little bit. We kind of buzzed him. But more importantly, as we're heading back to the airport, Phil goes to me, hey, you want to see your house, your parents' house from above? I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Well, we buzzed the house.
We didn't?
And we're like circling the house.
Buzz the house.
I mean, I swear we took shingles off the roof and we were circling, and I'm like, okay, it's late.
Oh, you got so much
did
trouble the
I
next day.
catch hell on Christmas morning? My mother called me at 5 a.m. and told me off, and then I had to hear it again once I got down to the house. Yeah.
That was a fun night, though.
That was a fun night. Though flying into a storm front was a little, there was like some cold front or something coming through. It was really bumpy and crunchy, and I didn't care. You were like, woohoo! And
I was used to it.
yeah,
Well,
well,
all the kids were kind of raised in airplanes, so.
yeah.
I mean, Michelle used to go to sleep. So.
Heck, even Grandma's dog was in the plane on a regular basis. Remember
Okay.
Wolfie?
Okay.
No, Monster.
Wolfie or Monster. Okay, so that was our first Christmas together as us. So that was what, 23 years ago?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it would have been in Christmas 2000. So, what are some favorite Christmas memories? That's what I get asked all the time. My favorite memory is going to our lake cabin and having Christmas next to a roaring fire in the potbelly stove. It was all about PJs and being warm. You know, a lot of families do that whole tradition of Christmas PJs, and Mr. and Mrs. Next Door used to do that. Did your family do it, Emily?
We just do it for Mackenzie.
Okay.
She gets a Christmas Eve box every night.
Oh.
Every Christmas Eve.
Okay. We never did anything like that because it was more of my mother trying to corral us all and getting us to go to bed. Usually starting with me, being the youngest. You know, go to bed, Santa will come. It's not dark yet. Go to bed, Santa will get here. Like, come on, I might be 5, but I'm not stupid. Yeah.
It's 3 in the afternoon. Santa's in Russia.
Yeah, exactly. As a single mom, the holidays were just depressing. But once I was asked to volunteer to shelter for dinner, I really got the true meaning of the season. Thankfully, my son has carried on that tradition. That's lovely. That's sweet. I mean, that's a good way to do it, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good way to talk about the meaning of the season.
Yeah.
Poor Max. He's so exhausted. Now, of course, when I was growing up, my parents were not rich by any means whatsoever. And I don't know how they did it.
Please, can I have more?
You may picture it.
For the record, usually it's me and mine's still half full.
Yeah, well, I never even got a full glass. I made sure all of you guys got. See, that's what I do.
Minchies.
Anyway, my parents were not rich by any means, and some years I don't know how they did it, other than they had a Montgomery Ward charge card. But you know, Christmas was always super magical. They always made a fuss. Somehow the house was always filled with presents. Thank you, dear. So one year, now my parents they had a little evil streak. And our tradition was the kids on Christmas morning, when they would finally let us get up. I'm sure, Kevin and Emily, you have a 6-year-old. You know what that's like. Go back to sleep.
I'm not allowed to be evil with Emily.
Well, you knew my parents.
Yeah, I know.
You knew that they're little. So we would have to, once we were allowed to get up, we had to sit at the top landing where we couldn't see downstairs into the living room. And they would go down and you know, make the coffee and light the tree and do all that. And it seemed like forever to us kids. In reality, it's probably only 5 or 10 minutes. But one year, it did take a long time. And even my older brothers who were in high school were like, what are mom and dad telling us? What's going on? So our thing was, when we came downstairs, the first thing you're allowed to do was open your stockings. We could have a free-for-all. And we didn't have a mantle, but we had the house had 4 rooms. So you had to go through the little foyer and then into the living room. So we would always hang our stockings around the doorway between the foyer and the living room. I don't know why, just where they decided. And we came down and our stockings weren't there. What's going on? And my mom said some comment about, oh, you kids were bad. Santa took your stockings away. Yeah. So, of course, you know, I was like 4 or 5. I had just really figured out Christmas and stockings, you know, and before I think I just lost my mind. You know, after 5 kids, my mom could see the signs coming. You guys probably know the signs when Kenzie's about to have a meltdown. Yeah. And my mom was like, no, wait, look, here they are. And she hid them. We had a little, it used to be called a parlor organ, and it was just a little, it was the thing to do in the 50s and 60s. Everyone played the organ. And so they were down by the pedals. So the problem was, it was a good year, and the stockings were too heavy, and the thumbtacks came out of the wall overnight, and all of them fell off the wall, and all the contents spilled out. There might have been a cat that helped too. And so they had to spend time putting them all back together, figuring out what, was this for Heather or was this for Stan? Which one is this gift for? And I think we just traded stuff as we opened the wrong thing, but they had to do all that. So we were very relieved that, wow, whew, Santa didn't let us down. But there was that moment, you know, that like, oh, that was bad. Like, you weren't teasing me? Jenny says, my dad was in the military and deployed for 2 years. One day before Christmas, there was a knock on the door. It was a huge box, and my mom asked for my help bringing it in. We struggled with it and tipped it over with a loud thump. The box swung open, and it was my dad. Oh, none of us knew he was coming home. That's sweet.
That's always nice when you can see it.
My dad was in the military before I was born, so they had Christmases without him. I don't know if he ever surprised them by coming home. It wouldn't have been that elaborate if he did. It would have been more like he walked in the door, surprise. But no, that was before my time, so I'm glad about that. All right, another Christmas story. You know, it's so warm and horrible and icky here in New Jersey. I want it to be cold. I want snow on the ground.
You got flurries.
We've had
last
some
week.
flurries, yeah, you're right, we did. One year when I was growing up, this was before global warming was a thing, you know, back in the last century, which I can honestly say, the last century, ugh. You know, we'd had a lot of snow one year. Careful there, Max. Like it snowed at Thanksgiving and a lot of it. Bye. I'm out. So we had a lot of snow, and even before Thanksgiving, like just piles and piles of snow all over the place. And I was outside one day, it was probably like a Saturday or Sunday, and I was playing with my friends, and we're all just doing what little kids do. And all of a sudden, we noticed up the street there was some commotion at the firehouse. So, of course, being nosy little kids, we're like, let's go see. I was probably 6 or 7, you know. And so I went running up to the firehouse, and there's this big commotion, and all the grown-ups are like, okay, get them all in line. And we're like, okay. So they got us all lined up. Guess who was inside? It was Santa. And they just lined us up. We got cookies and hot chocolate, got to sit on Santa's lap, tell him what we wanted, gave us a free picture, and the best part was crayons and a coloring book. You know, when you're 7, that's like, oh, or 6.
One could argue you don't outgrow crayons in a color.
Well, that's true. That's
that and
true.
Legos.
That's true.
Yes.
There's Legos here somewhere if you want to play with them, Kevin. Just pick them up afterwards.
I might. Oh, I gotta pick them up.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah.
It's much more fun for the parents to step on them.
But anyway, yeah, I know. Thank you. That tradition went on for several years until I got a little too old for Santa. But the very next year, oh, there's commotion. Santa's here, and oh, look, it's the same coloring book as last year. Yay! But that's all right. It was fun. When I was 17, I didn't have a present under the tree. My parents surprised me with a car, a 1966 Oldsmobile, and I couldn't have been happier. Wow. I had a 1966 Olds too as my first car, but I didn't get it for Christmas. Now I would love to have that car. When I was 17, not so much, but that's a great memory. I would have preferred, though, if I were that person. Well, I don't know. I was pretty excited when I got it, but I don't know if I would have wanted to trade Christmas for it. I know we have more, but I'll just keep going. What do you all do Christmas morning for breakfast?
We used to, when I was younger, Pillsbury traditional cinnamon rolls and the orange flavor.
Okay.
So many people.
Yes.
We just had those orange rolls yesterday.
They are the best.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, so many people talk, you know, they downplay it. They're like, oh, they're not as good. Don't knock them till you try them. The orange flavor is banging.
That was like a camping staple with Dad and
Christmas
Pete.
morning, you knew it was
Before
Christmas
that.
because you could smell those cinnamon rolls baking
Yep.
in the morning.
Yep. I would agree.
Christmas morning, I think we tend to change it up every year.
Every
We're not traditional in that.
I think last year we did monkey bread.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's right, we did. This year
And
we're
I think,
doing.
yeah, we're breaking out the Belgian waffle maker.
This year you want to do red and green waffles.
Oh, that's a good
and then
idea.
some kind of breakfast meat. Don't know
Yeah.
which
Now,
one yet.
did you guys have? So you had that tradition growing up, Tim. What about Emily and Kevin? Was there like a tradition when
So
you were
my
kids?
mom usually makes some kind of crepe.
Oh,
But I
okay.
think it's usually the last couple of years it's been like a ham and cheese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that
It's
sounds
a
good.
savory
Delicious.
crepe.
Yeah.
Yeah, your mom
that
does
sounds
crepes
good.
every year.
So then we'll head down to their house after Christmas,
Sometime.
Right.
and then she'll most likely make that one of the mornings that we're down there.
Kevin, what about your mom? Did your mom do anything? I only know from the time that you were with us.
Mom didn't really have a consistent tradition. It was just whatever felt right that year.
Okay.
Which is kind of what Emily and I do, in all honesty.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's what we do too.
Oh, I like Joe's logic here.
Joe Brennan.
Yeah.
Sausage, biscuits, and gravy. This will be your sausage and egg breakfast casserole. Excellent,
I
Joe.
love
Thank
that.
you.
There with you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe and Peggy.
Our Christmas
Oh my
breakfast might have
gosh.
just been changed.
I'm right there with you. I recently started trying, I saw this recipe called pancake sausage balls.
Oh.
Oh, I've seen something like that.
It's so good. I make them. They're easy to like freeze, and so in the morning when I'm trying to have breakfast, I just portion them out. I just put them in the microwave real quick, but they're
Probably
just so tiny.
healthier making yourself than to buy the pre-made, super processed.
Oh
thing.
yeah, it's so easy. It's like 4 ingredients.
Nice.
Yeah, so good.
So when I was growing up, we had a traditional breakfast every single year, and I can't have it anymore because someone doesn't like it.
Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you can't have it.
Yeah,
Just
well,
saying.
whenever I talk about buying it, so we used to have something called Finn and Hattie.
Huh?
You have no idea what it is.
Not a clue. I'm
Okay.
sure I've had it, but I don't have a clue.
Well, your father was from England, is
Yeah.
from England. Your grandmother was from England, right? You know what kippers are?
Yeah.
Finn and Hattie is very similar. It's smoked haddock. And then to warm it, you poach it in milk with salt and pepper. And so we would have that it's a Scottish thing. So we would have that for breakfast every year. And that was another one of those traditional memory trigger things that when Mom would come home from shopping and you'd see this big package from the fish counter. One year, probably around 77 or 78, sometime in the 70s, she couldn't get it. She went everywhere she could think of. So we were all kind of disappointed that year. And then the next year she was able to get it again. Fast forward a number of years, we're all grown up, and one of my brothers was living with them at the time. He was in his 30s, and he said, well, I want to have Finn and Hattie this year, and you're having trouble finding it. I know where I can get it, and I'm going to go and get it. My mom said, no, you're not. We don't need to have it. That was just then. Blah, 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 blah. And she kind of got nasty with him, and he was like, yeah, Mom, I'm in my 30s. If I want to get in my car and drive up to Kearney, North Jersey, is that North Jersey?
Kearney, North Jersey. It's next to Newark.
The Scottish lady I used to work with called it Kearney, but Kearney, it's from here, it's very north of us. But there was some little Scottish shop there that he could get it. And he did, and she complained and bitched and moaned, and then when he brought it home and he cooked it, he didn't even make her cook it, he did it, and she was very happy when she had it again.
Hank's
That
got
was
a
my
good
mother.
one here.
A very cold Christmas Eve in Colorado, many years ago at my parents' house, we had placed such a load on their electric system with space heaters that it blew the meters off the house, and we did candles for over 2 hours before we had power restored. It's good to have contact. Wow.
We'd be calling Joe Brennan our favorite electrician.
Well, in this house, if we ever blow the meter off, we have bigger problems.
Exactly.
Blow our meter off, we're just coming to your house, so.
True that.
Although somebody else making your family recipe makes me wonder, because last year, for the first time, you made the shortbread that I made, that I've been making for 2 years. Who else panics over making a family recipe and feeding it to its maker for the first time?
And you did a fine job.
Still nerving.
It's just me, Kev. It's not like... I'm not Gordon Ramsay.
No, but it's the family recipe.
Yeah, and you're part of the family. Anita says, I used to love going to the candlelight service at church at midnight. Sadly, they don't do them anymore. Yeah, I used to love to do that too. 100 years ago, when I was going to a different church, Christmas Eve started, like the family service at 6 and then something else, and there was like 5 or 6 services ending with the midnight service, and I wouldn't get home until 2 or 3 in the morning afterwards. And Yeah, couldn't do that now. But I do miss that, like, being midnight, that candlelight service, and all the carols and things. Not now. Now bedtime is like, yeah, it's 9:30.
Here's one for you.
What? Kelsey, we hosted Christmas the first year I was married. How stressful. I didn't know how to cook it, so it was a disaster, but it didn't matter because we were all together. See, Kev? So I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. If you had messed it up, it wouldn't have mattered. And please, come get this and start eating this.
Rest assured, would have been a hand on the screen momentarily.
All right, now, help yourself. That if you had messed up the shortbread, it wouldn't have mattered.
Well, we'll push it into the frame, and then I will take some.
Well, I was trying to coax them to, like, come and pick it up.
Sure, the one live stream I behaved myself.
And now we see that there's one missing, as I said.
Always, someone has to start it. Someone has to take
Someone
the
has
first
to
piece
start
of
it.
cake or the first
Fine,
piece
I
of
will
pie.
take the bait. I got you.
I will
Be
take
the
the
person
bait.
that takes the whole thing.
Leave me one. Let me just take there. Now you can take it because I don't need to be eating it. So
I will get you one.
You want one? I'll got you.
go ahead.
Oh, see, Tim brings you everything.
Well, hey, we have good friends.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, you've never had that before either, have you?
We keep this up. We're
Yeah.
going to be having really big studio audiences. We're going to have multiple seats.
That'd be awesome. I love studio audiences at the live
Sounds like the new
streams.
winter project. Get rid of the couch and put in stadium seating.
Right.
I'll be Vanna White. I can distribute this.
All right, let me have a taste of this. I did manage to mix this earlier, even with my injury. I just did it with one hand. I was trying to channel my mother, who could mix a shortbread in one hand, drink a martini with the other,
That's
smoke
hard.
a Palmel Gold, all at once. Puff, sip, mix.
Do love this shortbread.
I don't smoke Palmel Golds or anything at all, so I've never been able to master that. But I know Dixie always likes to see me taste food. I don't do my shopping until Christmas Eve. It's much more fun, and I get all the great sales. Yeah, we've done that once or twice, haven't we, dear?
You mean
How do you get food Christmas Eve? Most
midnight at
places are sold out.
Walgreens?
Right.
Midnight at Walgreens. Oh, that's perfect. Perfectly tender, as it should be. Now this crispy nonsense.
This must be newlyweds.
Okay.
Oops. Hold on. That's not what I wanted. I wanted that one.
My baby's first Christmas. You remember that. It's Max's second Christmas with us. It was his first Halloween this year, but it was his second
All right.
Christmas with us. All right, may I continue?
No, it's my turn.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it's 4 o'clock. Go ahead.
Well now.
I'll eat shortbread and shut up.
All right. Wait.
Push the button.
Yeah, hold on. Got to push the button. All right. As most of you know, we like to feature small channels that are just getting started in the cooking world and YouTube. And it's hard work. Yeah, we're doing pretty well, but it's still hard work. So we like to point it out. And for the last couple of live streams, I haven't been able to get a hold of people because I always ask their permission. So today, I would like to introduce you to
Thanks.
Easy Cooking with Linda. Linda is a home cook, and she does step-by-step, and although she's not a teacher, she really enjoys it. Good videos with olive cheese balls yesterday. She has 504 subscribers and 53 videos, and it's good stuff all over the place. So take a look.
Kind of like us.
Yep. I will put
place.
her, oops, they don't need to see that screen. I will put the link to her channel. It's already in the show description below on YouTube, and I will put it in chat right now. So go out, watch one of her videos, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tell them you came from Let's Celebrate TV.
Go watch it after the live stream.
And let's help someone else grow.
Mm-hmm. Back to me, Bob.
Back to you.
Have any of you out there, have you ever been sick on Christmas? Maybe as a kid, maybe you had a cold or something?
Yeah, you proposed.
Yeah, that's not being sick.
Oh no.
No, actually, I was.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I don't remember you being sick.
I was just getting over a cold.
Okay.
No,
I still proposed, and then we went up to her grandparents' house with her whole side of the family.
Yeah, and then you came to our house, and that was after people hit you, and we had to nurse the wound on your head. That's another story.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh my.
We'll tell that story if you
Fill
need.
you
So,
later.
I was sick one year for Christmas. Most kids, I'm sure, if Kenzie hasn't been, there's gonna be a year she's gonna be sick.
bound to happen.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was about to going somewhere with this, dear. All right, so we'll do this instead. Never mind me. In 1973, a house burned down. Oh. Can try again? In 1973, our house burned down the week before Christmas. That's terrible. We all got out safely, but we lost nearly everything. We were new in town, but the entire neighborhood came together and gave us shelter, made sure we had a good Christmas. Presents, dinner, and everything. And, thank you, they took care of us after the holidays too, until we were able to get back into our own home. Well, that's wonderful. I mean, it's terrible, but it's wonderful. That's the spirit, you know?
Yeah.
Help you out your neighbor. Be a community, come together. It's Christmas. I mean, you should all year round, but especially at Christmas. So I was sick one year for Christmas, and this is one of my favorite memories, and this was when I still believed in Santa Claus. And I remember on Christmas Eve, I was laying in my little bed. I probably had like bronchitis or something, because I used to get that a lot when I was a kid. So I was probably laying there just being miserable. And my parents had a little portable black and white TV. And in those days, if you had two TVs, you were really... So they had it in a little cart, and they brought it up to my room, and I was watching, I don't know if you guys know this movie. You might, but they might not. Lucille Ball, Yours, Mine, and Ours. You know it.
I've heard of you.
Yeah.
No.
They made a remake of it a few, but this was
All right, so
Lucille
1 out of
Ball.
3.
Because you
1 out
guys
of
are so much younger than me. Lucille Ball, I think Henry Fonda. And it was based on a real family's story of a woman who had 8 kids, who was a widow, and then a widower who had 10 kids, and they got married and they had 18 kids, and then they had a baby together. So it was this funny movie, and I was laying in bed watching, and all of a sudden my dad comes running up the stairs. Scared me half to death, because I'm just like laying there and being like, oh, I'm sick. And he comes bursting into my room. You gotta see this! And he turned the channel, and in is it Morristown, the radar station?
Yeah.
Yeah. In those days, it looked like a golf ball, and it was this big advanced radar station that was doing everything, and they picked up Santa Claus on his route. He was flying over Pennsylvania, and they could see him. And you could see this image of the sleigh and the reindeer traveling. It wasn't just like a regular, like, dot blinking. They actually imposed but to a little kid, that was the most incredible thing. It's Santa. He's like, no, you really gotta go to sleep now. I know you're watching TV, but you really gotta. I was, okay. And of course, they still do that. But now, of course, you know, with the digital age and everything being online.
Now it's NORAD.
Yeah. Well, I think it was then too.
Oh.
You can even ask the A girl where
Yes, you
Santa
can.
is.
Yes, you can. But she's counting down our timer. How's that looking? Oh, that's way done. I'm gonna pull that out, I think. Let's see. This oven is still a little tricky with,
Runs hot.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's done.
Show it off.
Well, let me get it out, dear. All right. A little darker than I would like.
It's,
Nice
golden
it
brown,
looks
though.
so good.
Yeah, no, but it's
though.
not supposed to be that dark. It's supposed to be
True.
pale. It will still be tasty. We're just gonna let that cool. We'll cancel that. So now let's just sit here and click while it cools down. Alexa, how much time is on the timer?
You have 3 minutes and 10 seconds left on
All
your
right.
30-minute timer.
Alexa, cancel timer.
30-minute timer canceled.
All right, so mental note, when we use this little oven,
Shorter time.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 minutes.
or 20, yeah, it'll be fine. Someone will eat it. So, Here's a fun one. And I've done this, and you know I've done this, Kevin. Did your mom ever lose a present and forget it? And everyone's opening presents, and then she's sitting there going, wait, where's that blah I bought you? Where's that thing I got for you? My mom would do that every single year. She would lose at least one present, if not two. And we'd be all done, open gifts, and she'd be, And then she'd have to go hunting through the house, and it was quite a large house, so she had lots of little hiding places. And most years she found the stuff, but not always. Sometimes it would be found months later. And I've been guilty of that too. And until we lived here, our old house was kind of small, but somehow I would lose presents. You guys never done, your moms never did that? Never lost a present? Wow.
No.
Wow.
I'm sure Mom did, but Mom never let it slip. But I'm sure she did.
Gina, I have a different sort of holiday memory. It was the first Christmas I spent in my own place as an adult, missing the family, but knowing I'm about to start a new life on my own. Yeah. That's always fun. That was probably weird. Like, wasn't it weird for you guys when you're first out on your own, your first Christmas? Yeah. And then it was like, oh, I feel grown up, but oh, this is different. But I'm growing up now, and yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember distinctly my very first Christmas by myself. I had graduated college, and I moved, because I'm originally from South Carolina, as y'all know.
Right.
But I had gotten a job at a theater up in Indiana, so I'm states away. And I'm the youngest of 6. I have a big family. So every year we were always together, and to finally be completely separated from that, it was a little difficult, but luckily, like, the theater community is so, like, not everybody could go home, so we shared time with each other. We did the Secret Santa.
Made family time.
And we made, like, friends. Chosen family is just as important as actual.
So you're lucky you had that
family.
Community.
Yes.
Great. I just remember feeling like it's weird. And I wasn't that far away. I was still in the same state, but it was more principle. Like, no, I'm not going down there. I'm not going to do it. Okay. Not sure if this is a memory or tradition, but having all the kids and grandkids gather to decorate the tree, even if those kids are in their 40s. Yeah, that sounds familiar, huh?
Thanksgiving
We do that
a couple years ago.
And even this year. We try
Minus us.
We try and host Thanksgiving so we can get the grandkids over to decorate the tree for us so we don't have to do the work. When I was a kid, Christmas tree ornaments were made of glass. I always broke at least one, and it always seemed to be my mom's favorite. I hear you. I feel the pain.
I feel like that's part of the Christmas tradition.
Yeah.
The breakout, which one is going to be broken this year.
That's why all of our ornaments, or 99.9% of our ornaments, are plastic. And if you break one, then more power to you.
Oh, here's your nemesis,
What's my nemesis?
the feast.
Oh, it's not my nemesis, it's yours. We always do the Feast of Seven Fishes on Christmas Eve. It used to be just my wife and me, but now our kids and grandkids, we have over 30 people every year. Wow. You don't do the Feast of Seven Fishes?
I've never heard of this. What is this?
It's an Italian
I
tradition.
am all for it. I've never had it, but I am all for it.
It's an Italian-American tradition. And it's literally, you have fish on Christmas Eve dinner. And there's usually 7 of them. It signifies something. And then there are a lot of arguments over what is traditional. So what were those little baby fish? Remember, we bought them frozen. We tried to do it one year and be traditional. And boy, did I get a lot of hate mail about that. There's one sort of little fish, because I was combining stuff. I'm like, well, I'm going to make shrimp scampi and we'll have this. That's not traditional. You have to have bacala, salted cod. You have to have...
Smelts.
Smelts, that's it, smelts. I'm like, what is a smelt? They were okay. They're like sardines, and apparently you deep fry them, and yeah. You're
All right,
supposed to
whoever's in
have...
chat who does the Feast of Seven Fishes, tell us what 7 you use.
Right. They're supposed to be squid, calamari.
Love that.
Yeah. But not necessarily fried, usually in a salad.
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
I love squid either way.
And I'm not sure what some of the others. There's probably crabs and spaghetti. There's probably shellfish like clams.
To be
and
fair, while
oysters
most
and
people
things.
think of squid and calamari, grilled squid is really good.
Yes, it is. We did it one year. And it was okay, but I'd like to, because it was just two of us, so I would like to do it again some Christmas Eve. That's kind of why I was asking the Facebook world, who's coming to my house on Christmas Eve? Because really, sometimes people just show up, which is fine.
Okay, this one is funny. It's sad, but it's funny.
Okay. My best memory is a year my high school choir was arrested for Christmas caroling without a permit. That's also terrible, but yeah.
How old were you, Lisa?
Well, they're in high school. I mean,
They are being arrested
Wow.
for Christmas caroling.
that's funny.
My bad,
No,
it's
some
90s or
some
later.
towns.
Who arrested them? The Grinch?
Some
Possibly.
some towns will do that. Usually, though, like if you're out caroling and if it's a little late, the police might, and some butthead, complains, and the police will just go, "Could you guys tone it down?" Or "It's a little late. Move on home." I've never heard of anyone being arrested. I've heard of carolers being like, "Okay, it's a little late," but that's funny.
So when you see the little symbol to the left that looks like envelopes in an inbox, it just means we got it as a private message, or it was on Facebook in a public forum that we were running. So they won't necessarily be here live seeing this.
Well, Lisa, if you watch this later, I want to know. I need more details.
So Kenzie is 6. She's in kindergarten.
First grade.
First grade now, right. So when did she figure out about Christmas? Was it like last year? Year
I'd
before?
say last year was the first real year
Where
that
she
she realized
was-
what was going on.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds about
I
right.
think that's about typical. That's what it was for me too. So when I was in kindergarten in 1973, I'm old. I was in the afternoon class because they did split sessions in those days. I don't know how I ended up in the afternoon, but I did. And so the way it worked was my parents would get the older kids off to school. My godmother would come down just as they were all leaving, and then she would get me off to school, and then she would hang out as the other kids all got home and wait for my parents to get home, and then she would go about. So it's Christmas Eve, and my mom says to me, "You know what tomorrow is?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's Christmas." She said, "Do you know what's going to happen?" And I said, "Well, yeah, because Santa comes tonight." I felt so grown up. I had it all figured out. I said, "Yeah. So you're going to get up. We're going to get up early and open all our presents. Then you're all going to go to work and school. And Aunt Ellie's going to come and get me off to school. And then after school, I can come home and play with my presents." And she said, "No, you don't have to go to school on Christmas Day. You get a whole week off from school." And my mind was blown. How do you get a week off from school? But I was just so proud of myself. I was all set. Like a 5-year-old. Could honestly open the toys on Christmas Day and then be like, "I'm going to school now." Yeah. But in my mind, I was being
You were
grown up.
setting your routine.
I was like, okay. I knew I was a grown-up when my parents were getting on in years and my mother asked me to help her with hosting the family for Christmas Day. There are over 40 of us now, and she wanted me to help her do all the cooking. My goodness. I convinced her to have it be potluck where everyone contributes. Now everyone is involved, and we're all happy. Best idea ever. That's nice. I could not surrender control like that. Unless it was very organized, so I knew you're bringing this dish, and you're bringing this dish, and I'm going to have 7 backups in case someone doesn't bring that dish.
You remember that picture of Thanksgiving I sent you a picture of? That was for 35 people.
Yeah.
Although rest assured, her aunt had a detailed list of who was contributing what.
Well, you need to, because otherwise you have 14 people bringing mashed potatoes,
Sure.
right? So you need to have people commit to a gift, to a dish. Back in the 60s, when stationers he's alone, I always volunteered to pull duty so someone whose family was with them could say, "Oh, that's nice, Hank."
And I used
That's
to
the
do the
spirit.
same thing as the Jew. I would let everybody else go when I was a paramedic. So in those days, I would cover all their shifts so they could be with their families.
Well, and I do that work too. My staff takes the week off between Christmas and New Year because they all have kids, and I never do.
I
I
work-
take it to Halloween, but
I work with people that are either younger or older, that either don't have kids or their kids are grown, that say, "Oh, look, your kids are younger, you take the time, we'll cover that."
Mm-hmm.
I work with people who do similar.
well, my kids are all grown. I
And yet
work-
we still show up.
Yeah, I know.
More often than you want.
No, not as often as I would.
We know
want.
2 people
Oh, in that
in this
case, we're calling over
situation.
5 nights a week.
My birthday is December 23rd, so I've never liked Christmas because I always get, this is your birthday and Christmas present. Yeah. When I think of all the
That's
times I
harsh.
did that to my brother Jonathan, whose birthday was the 28th of December. Like, ooh. I never understood until I was older why he hated Christmas so much. Yeah, Max went upstairs. Or he's over there somewhere.
Oh, he's
There
over
he is.
here.
Yeah.
No, I found Grinchy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this one's cute.
Okay. Last year, my BFF and I went to the mall and had our pictures taken with Santa. We're grown women in our 60s, but we got to sit on his lap and everything. Silly fun. That's great.
Yes, Colleen. Love that.
That's fun. That's very fun. Good for you. So it's not just Christmas, though, right? What comes after Christmas? New Year's Eve. How many of y'all have good New Year's Eve party memories or New Year's Eve memories that you could share?
Oh, and so
Yeah,
That narrows it
remember,
down.
Family
this
show.
is very safe, very good. Being the youngest kid of a Southern Baptist minister as a father, we would always at church we would have the New Year's Eve lock-in at the church.
Okay.
So we would all the kids in the youth group would go and we would spend the night in the church. So the goal was to wait until we would watch it on I remember the old TVs. We would watch the ball drop, but we would play like hide and seek throughout the entire church. So we were in the sanctuary, in the nursery. Everyone knew where the best hiding places were. So it was this team versus this team. It was so much fun. I remember we would stay up all night. That was the goal.
How old were you?
Oh, we did this for years. This was
Teenagers?
Teenage years.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So that's good. Yeah, keep the teenagers out of
Like
trouble.
middle school to high school
Okay.
range.
That's kind of sweet. That's
Yeah,
nice.
so much fun.
Strange memory enforcing tradition. Mother offered 5 kids and husband an option of turkey, none of us really fond of, or rib roast. Unanimously, rib roast never felt like their Christmas dinner.
What?
Yeah, Richard, we always had rib roast for Christmas dinner too. We did the same thing. One year we begged my mother for turkey. And she said, we just had turkey a couple weeks ago, Thanksgiving. No, we want turkey dinner. So she made another turkey. And we're all like, oh, yeah, this is good, but we just had it. So she wasn't too happy with us. However, we had another rib roast in the freezer because she was bound and determined. She was going to have her rib roast for Christmas. So I think like the next night. I think we had it like Christmas dinner was Wednesday or something. And then that Saturday we had rib roast.
And you say that as we bought an $85 piece of rib roast.
Hey, we got it for 60, so, and it was more than 85 originally, dear. So I have a great New Year's memory. One year, my parents were really good at pop-up parties. And our neighborhood, when we first moved in there, the grown-ups would have like progressive cocktail parties. And it would just be like on a random Wednesday night, like, oh, we're going over to Sally and Les's house for a few minutes. I mean, they're going to have some cocktails. And then they'd be down at, Bonnie and Jack's house, then up at, so-and-so's house, and then this one. Then mom and dad would come staggering home. And New Year's Eve, people just go to, like, hi, we're here, Happy New Year's. So my mom always kept, that time of year, snacks and stuff around. So we were having one of those pop-up parties. We weren't planning it, but people just started showing up. And they would bring food and booze, which was always welcome. So I said earlier, our house had 4 rooms in the main part of the house. There's a foyer, a living room, a family room, and a kitchen. And there were connecting doorways through all 4. So people are coming in and out. And my dad was standing in the kitchen looking into the living room. And he saw this woman walking into view, and she was a nice-looking woman. She was wearing this blouse that had like a frilly collar on it. Ruffles, I guess you call them. And she was looking around, and she had her little drink in her hand, and she wandered into the foyer. So he thought maybe she was going to circle into the family room, because there really wasn't anything in the foyer. So he stepped into the family room to say, hello, who are you? Welcome, and she wasn't there. And then he thought, well, maybe she went upstairs, because that's where the stairs were, looking for a bathroom. So he went upstairs, checked all the rooms. No one up there. And he's like, okay, I know I saw this woman. So he went back downstairs, and he said to one of my brothers, I just saw a woman. And he told my brother the same thing, and it was Stan. He was home from the service, so he wasn't like drunk or anything. And Stan was like, yeah, I saw her too. I saw her in the foyer. I was in the family room, and she walked through the foyer. I didn't see where she went. I was talking to someone. So a couple people saw this woman. No idea where she went. No one saw her leave. So he was kind of perplexed. And he's like, Now our house is it's still our house. It was haunted. It still is haunted, and there's lots of activity. So now he's thinking, okay, is this one of the ghosts screwing with me? A couple days later, my mom comes home from work. She's all excited. Oh, I stopped, and there's this great sale. And look at this blouse I bought. And it was the exact same blouse the ghost woman at the party was wearing. He was like,
Because that's not going to haunt you.
but he asked, like, who's that woman? No one else saw her. No one knew. He described her. Only my one brother saw her. So they're like, okay, what's going on here? That would have freaked me out a little bit. Yeah.
See, that's where it's fun.
I was always a bah humbug person until I had grandkids. Now they brighten up my holiday season every year. I get to spoil them and send them home. Yeah, I have to admit, I love being a grandpa for the
That
same
sound
reason.
Like in the family.
Me?
You and her parents.
Yep. That's right.
Just wait, a whole lot of Amazon boxes just came the other day.
Well, like in my Facebook memories, it came up.
So what you're saying is when we come for Christmas Day, we need to bring my car. Or borrow Brutus.
Yeah, pretty much. Remember the dollhouse? The first dollhouse I bought for little Emily that was almost as big as Craig and Michelle's house. And then the second year we got her another dollhouse that was even bigger than the first.
Yeah, but we have your dad's dollhouse. That
I
trunk.
know you do. I know. But remember when Connor was like 6 or 7 and we bought him a Lightning McQueen TV
That he still has.
That he still
and
has.
it still works.
Oh, that's so cool.
My favorite holiday memory when my parents let me light the Hanukkah menorah by myself. Oh, that's sweet, and I've done it ever since. That's nice. It's more about Christmas. You know, it's more than Christmas. It's Hanukkah and Diwali, and
Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
yeah, Kwanzaa's coming up.
All right, we're getting to that time. Let's talk about what we got coming up.
What do we have coming
and
up?
our next live streams and schedules.
I'm tired. Okay, you're gonna have to help me out with this. So, what's coming up? What have we filmed? We have coming out Brussels sprouts gratin. So, if you don't like Brussels sprouts, or you think you don't like Brussels sprouts, you're wrong. Try this recipe because it's yummy and delicious, rich, and wonderful.
Take what you don't like and put cheese on it. It can always be good.
Right? What does
Pretty
Kevin
much.
always say? Cheese is good. What else do we have? We have
Look, Mackenzie liked it.
Yeah.
Then again, she likes roasted Brussels sprouts to begin with. So.
Okay. What else is coming up? We have a stuffed leg of lamb episode coming out. Again,
Awesome.
if you think you don't like lamb, try this recipe. And our next live stream, you want to give them the details on that, dear?
All right. Like most small channels, we need a little break. So everyone will be taking a break over the holidays because our normal scheduled live stream would be New Year's Eve. And frankly, we need to celebrate New Year's Eve. So we'll be doing our next live stream on December 7th.
No.
Excuse me, January 7th. Oops. All right, whatever.
Too much champagne for you.
Oh,
Yes.
but again, everyone wants to see us cook. And being in New Jersey, the diner capital of the world, and we have our Southern Jersey Diner Tour, we thought it would be fun to do what's for breakfast French toast.
And the reason is we do this tour of all the diners, and we try and go to a different diner every weekend that we're home. And, you know, we have our standards that we go to, but we try and find new ones now and then. When we go to a new diner, we each have a dish that we test it with. I always test breakfast at a diner with French toast and sausage because every diner should be able to nail French toast every single time. And it is amazing how many bad French toast is out there. How many diners just can't get it right. Phil's thing is cream chip beef over toast or biscuits, but the cream chip beef itself, another diner staple that every single diner should be able to nail every single time. And yet many diners, they just open a can.
Right, and there are two major manufacturers of the canned, and I know the taste of both of them, so
Bless
I
you.
know immediately if where we're going made it themselves or opened the can.
So we're gonna be doing French toast because that's my favorite. which means I have to start practicing my French toast so I can walk the walk and not just talk the talk.
6 slices of sourdough.
Well, it's a little more than that, Kev.
It's about
It's a good bake.
It's a little more than that. And remember,
about what you get inside.
right,
Awesome.
because French toast should be lighter than most people think it is. It should have a little crispness on the outside, but custardy on the inside. It should not be dry. It shouldn't be like plain dried bread, like bleh. You want that egg custard inside. So anyway, it's gonna be all about French toast and all the different types. If you remember, we did an episode a couple years ago, boozy orange French toast coins, which was a very yeah, you'd like it if you like those orange rolls.
It's actually
made
a
it.
camp
I've
staple.
had it.
That's right, I
We
did
made
make
it.
that for
Yeah.
you. You're right. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's right. I did make that. I forgot about that. So that's what we have coming up. So it looks like we're at time. So I guess we'll wrap this up. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you all have a very happy holiday season, whatever you celebrate. And we will see you in the new year. So until next time, cheers.